Sorry about that. I kind of lost video for a second. So, I guess this will be a part 2, since the video just cut out. So, part 2, episode 1, part 2. And I did come up with a name for it. It is called The Survivalist in You. Now, I have no idea how well that's going to work out. And I also don't know how well the camera's going to hold up, because maybe my camera's freezing up at this moment. I don't know. I really don't. Okay. Anyway, so what I was trying to say when I stopped was you don't come back from survivalism every time. Not everybody survives it. A lot of people do, but not everybody. And part of the reason I'm trying to mention that is because I myself don't expect to survive what I'm prepping for. And as I get more into this channel and I get to know you guys more, you guys get to know me more, I'll express my views on politics, religion, and not only that, but I'll also give out the particular reasons as to why I'm prepping. There are many cases in which I am prepping, and I'm preparing for a lot of things, not just one particular thing I'm focused on. There's a lot of things that I'm prepping for, but more than likely, at least one of those things is going to happen. Now, we're going to get into the history of survivalism, based from the 1930s all the way to now. That actually hurt my chest. History from 1930s to 1950. We're going to go ahead and read this for you guys. And I'm reading this without context. And when I say without context, which I don't really think that's the right word I should have been using, I'm reading this word for word without knowledge of what's going to be said. So, let's go ahead and get into it. 1930s to 1950s. The origins of the modern survivalist movement in the United Kingdom and the United States include government policies, threats of nuclear warfare, religious beliefs, and writers who warned the social or economic collapse in both non-fiction and apocalyptic and post-apocalyptic fiction. That was plain and simple. The Cold War era civil defense programs, which I love the civil defense stuff, public atomic bomb shelters, personal fallout shelters, and training for children, such as the Duck and Cover films, which I have seen, the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, LDS, I've never heard of that, long directed its members to a year's worth of food for themselves and their families in preparation for such possibilities. But the current teaching advises only a 3-month supply. The Great Depression that followed the Wall Street crash in 1929 is cited by survivalists as an example of the need to be prepared. That was one of the worst things that could have happened in the U.S. in most recent times. I don't think there's really been a horrible thing to happen at any point worse than that said in the U.S. other than the terrorist attacks, but again, not necessarily part of this, but that can be a factor in survivalism and prepping. So we'll head on to the 1960s part here. And before I start that again, actually, I'm going to look through this here. This is actually very interesting. Anyway, what I'm going to tell you now is, before we continue, I got into prepping when I started getting into politics. And I started getting into politics when I turned, I think, 12. I'm 16 now, so you can draw back the years from that. I'm almost 17. My birthday is April 30th, so almost a month from now. And I think this is going to be a really good thing for me to do. To get into prepping, it's increasing my ability to be calm, to be focused, and to have an objective in life. Because before all of this prepping nonsense, my mother calls it nonsense, my dad highly supports it. He's a prepper of sorts as well, but my mother just hates it. And anyway, all of that in my past had been destroyed due to my prepping and my politics and my religion. That is the problem. That is what has been fixed, and that is why I'm into this. Now, I don't know about how you guys got into prepping or why you got into prepping, but all I know is you're into prepping. So let's continue on. 1960s. The increased inflation rate in the 1960s, the monetary devaluation, the continued concern over a possible nuclear exchange between the U.S. and the Soviet Union, and the increasing vulnerability of urban centers to supply shortages and other system failures caused by a number. Wow, I really screwed that up. Caused a number of primarily conservative and libertarian thinkers to promote individual preparations. Harry Brown began offering seminars on how to survive a monetary collapse in 1967, with Don Stevens, an architect, providing input on how to build and equip a remote survival retreat. He gave a copy of his original retreater's bibliography to each seminar participant. Wow, I wish I was there at that time. Articles on the subject appeared in small distribution libertarian publications such as The Innovator and Atlantis Quarterly. It was during this period that Robert D. Kefart, I don't know, began publishing Inflation Survival Letter, later renamed Personal Finance, for several years. I cannot read right now. For several years, the newsletter included a continuing section of personal preparedness written by Stevens. It promoted expensive seminars around the U.S. on similar cautionary topics. Stevens participated along with James McKeever. I've never heard that name before. And other defense investing hard money advocates. So I completely botched the reading of the 1960s part. Sorry about that, guys. So, you know what? I'm not going to read the rest of this. If you guys want to read it, go ahead. I guess we'll continue on with my interpretations. So survivalism, prepping are two technically different things. Preppers are survivalists. Survivalists are not preppers in every sense. They're not really preparing because they don't care to prepare. Once they're dead because they're already living off the grid, so it really doesn't matter to them. Me, however, my entire life has been on the grid, on a computer, in social life. And that's pretty much my entire life, and once that's gone, what am I planning to do? Now, there has been heavy debate on what some preppers believe they can and can't do, and what others think preppers can and can't do. A lot of preppers like me like to fantasize about being heroes, like being the greatest survivalists of all time. And that's just not possible. For me particularly, considering my stature, I am fat. To be quite honest, I'm not strong, I'm weak, and I've actually been working on fixing that problem for a long time, and am continuing to work on that. However, it's going to be a long time before that happens. And not only that, but I'm starting a survivalist business of sorts. To continue on that thing, I'll get onto in a minute. But overall, survivalism is not for anything to be screwed with, I should say. Don't pretend that you can survive a nuclear war, because odds are you're not going to. And if you do, there's going to be a hell of a lot of trouble to deal with. I'm not saying it's not possible, but it's very, very difficult. I don't expect to survive anything. If I do, well, more power to me. If you do, more power to you. I just don't expect to survive, and that's my personal opinion on the matter. However, even though I can, I don't really think I will. Anyway, that's just my point. I don't have the maximum time of how long I can upload videos to YouTube. I do believe my current max time is 15 minutes per video. So I'm going to leave it here because I'll have 2 parts set up. So anyways, this is Ethan Klein, or Monolithic Prepper, signing off. As always, I will see you guys next time. Thanks so much for watching. Long live America. Support the Constitution. Peace.